Hi, welcome to my garden. I am going to film a garden tour today. There is a big old menacing cloud behind me in the south, blocking the sun. So no shadows. I thought it'd be a good time as any to run out here. We're gonna start over here in the front. My baby dog. I have vines growing up my little trellis here. I have a cantaloupe. I grow this for my mom. I don't like cantaloupe. My own homegrown cantaloupes, they smell so good, so I gave it a taste, but nope, still cantaloupe. And then I have loofah gourd. 2 on this side, 1 on this side, and a pumpkin. I don't remember what kind of pumpkin, but a pumpkin. There was also a pumpkin here, but don't know what happened there. Out the front, I have a pink petunia. These are the wave petunia. I had also gotten the, which is later in the garden, I'll show you. But I had also gotten the bubblegum supertunia, bubblegum something supertunia. And I think I like that one better than this wave. I like the pink better of that other one, and I think it blooms a little bit better. I got that, and then of course, this was blooming beautiful, but now that I'm doing a garden tour, it's not. It is this Super Beano Stormburst and some basil. Main event back here. These are some of my floret zinnias. These are the Dawn Freak Blush. So pretty. I've sowed those direct sown in the garden bed first week of May. So it's been a little under 2 months. Oh, and I have up here, I'm hoping to lash it to my little shade structure support here. Hot Biscuits Amaranth. So I'm hoping when that gets tall, I can lash it to that and it'd be all beautiful. We'll see. I also have a strawberry blonde, I think it is, sunflower. I don't know what it is, if I got a bad batch or something, but why is that like 2 inches big? I had some in another spot too, and the same thing happened, so I don't know what's up with that. Such a shame, because it's so pretty. I did make an arrangement with some of my floret zinnias, and this has been inside for a week already. Oh no, maybe not a week. I forgot Wednesday was a holiday, so I had Wednesday off. So it's been 4 days. Next, we have my green stalks. I have a lot of random stuff in here. And some stuff that's recovering from before I put my shade cloth up. So I've got like some cosmos. I got some peppers. I got like 3 or 4 peppers in here. Some zinnias about to open. I have some dahlias that I started from seed, but they really got fried, so hopefully those recover. Those are not looking good. This is a cabbage that I cut back and didn't dig it out. So, you know, a lot of the time they come back. Here's another one. You can see some sprouts down there, so brassica forever. This other green stalk I just have with herbs. Here's some thyme. This is a parsley that was fall planted last year. It completely went to flower, and instead of removing it, I cut it down at the base because it was dying back. It was yellow, looking horrible, but it grew back this beautiful dark green and more flowers, so win-win. I had a lot of onions and stuff in here that got pulled, so there's a lot of empty spaces at the bottom, but I have just like some random zinnias and cosmos, basil, fun stuff. Back here in these 2 beds, this one gets more protection from the shade cloth. Eventually my whole garden will have this shade structure to where I'll be able to connect shade cloth and have the whole thing shaded. But for now, since this is open, the western sun still comes in. So these ones are struggling a little bit more than these ones, which are protected from the western sun by the shade cloth. So, but they're planted the same. They both have a I'm pretty sure it's the dwarf teddy bear sunflower that I put in here. I don't think I would have put a big old huge one. So dwarf teddy bear, just like a random $2 salvia from Lowe's. More floret zinnias. This one is the Victorian Wedding. And then I forget what that's called. A fan flower, I think. Purple fan flower, supposed to do good in the heat. I bought it on clearance and I planted it and it was hot and it like looked like it was literally about to die, and then I panicked and started giving it extra water and extra love, and it's starting to bounce back, so that's good. It was looking even worse than this over here, so that's good. Happy about that. Here I have a green bean, like a regular, I think whatever the common one is, Kentucky bull bean. I have that on all 4 of these, but this one got going first and it was looking a lot better, but before I made my shade structure I panicked and had shade draped over these trellises, so it was rubbing all over the leaves and it suffered a little bit, but before that it was glorious. So hopefully that recovers. And then I got some smaller ones. They got started really slow. Don't know what's up with that. But I have a squash. I don't know, maybe zucchini. And then I got 4 peppers back here, I think. 2 of them are bell peppers. Maybe the other 2 are hot peppers. I don't know. I've come through my whole garden and like I took the mulch off, added fertilizer, and put the mulch back, so pretty much no tags survived. I don't know what anything is, but peppers. This is a cherry tomato, tropical sunset. It makes yellow tomatoes. Let's see if there's any on here. Oh, it makes these juicy little orange cherry tomatoes. And on this side, I have a super sweet 100 cherry tomato. It's from last year. I pulled a sucker off around Christmas time and rooted it, and it was looking really unhealthy. Probably the original plant, since it had been in here the whole season, was diseased and not a good candidate for taking a cutting and propagating, but here we are. It's bouncing back and it's looking good. And then I had 2 Romas. This one really, again, struggling from that western sun, so that one is clearly not doing as well as this one here. And then I have some zinnias that are looking rough because I left them in their seed trays way too long, but I have 3 zinnias there. I don't remember what kind. Here's a shishito pepper. There was 3, but now there's like 1.5, so that's fun. This flower bed back here is struggling. It's probably like everything kind of, well, not everything. The echinacea and the dahlias and that agastache and back droop real bad every afternoon. So I've been like just pouring extra water on here and doing my best, but I don't know. It's probably going to struggle until some of this stuff can get bigger, maybe next year. I have some gomphrena, and then I have more floret zinnias. These ones are the precious metals. Oh, I also popped in some basil in here because there are just tons of mealybugs. I don't know if that'll deter them or not, but I just decided to do something rather than nothing. I got an agastache. I just took off all the bloom stalks because they were done, but this is what it looks like. Super pretty. And my Colette climbing rose. It's just its first year, so hopefully next year we see some substantial growth and filling out of this trellis. Oh, don't mind this big back here. I feel really I know it's just like something you gotta do, but I feel funny chipping the wood because it's so loud and I don't want the neighbors to be like annoyed or inconvenienced, so I don't know. I just need to get over that and chip the wood. Back here, the tomatillos are looking rough. I got 3 tomatillos way in the back. 1, 2, 3. But they are making me some. You know they're ready when they fill out this whole husk and this slightly starts to open. So this one's almost here. I can feel it. And then I have just a bunch of different kinds of peppers. These zinnias are done, but they've been in here since February, so that's fine. And I did get bouquets off of that, so that's fine. But yeah. And then in the front, those are flowers from the cool season. I didn't even bother redoing them for the warm season because these containers are really small. So yeah, I could cut them off, but whatever. I hear some thunder, so hopefully we make it. And then I got some sweet potatoes. These are a little slow growing. Normally they're a lot quicker, and my ones on the other side are quicker, but you know. This is my bed that was just glorious in spring. I just packed it full of ranunculus and snapdragons and lots of other stuff, but pretty much the ranunculus and the snapdragons bullied everything else out, so you couldn't really see anything. But oh, here you can see some of that stormburst verbena. This is what it looks like when it's all covered. I don't think you are supposed to need to deadhead. So this will probably just, you know, set some more blooms soon. But I got that with the Supertunia Vista bubblegum. So I have 3 of these stormbursts and 2 of these. After I planted that, you know how your phones spy on you. But after I planted that, I kept getting recommended a bunch of videos where people planted this, and they all say that this Supertunia bubblegum gets a little out of control and can gobble things up. And of course that was after I already planted it in here, so we'll see what happens there. Happy accident, maybe this whole thing is mounted up, I don't know, we'll see. And then I have 3 that I started from seed. These are the Kilimanjaro white marigolds, more floret zinnias. These again are Victorian wedding. And then in this little pot in the front, I have more Victorian wedding and both of these 2. I have a hibiscus that is just taking its sweet time to come back. Oh, I guess I see some blooms here. It's also looking kind of yellow, but I've definitely been fertilizing, so I don't know what's up with that. And then here's another fan flower that I got on clearance. So actually I think I put 2 in here. Loving that. This is a bed that I need to flip. I put my sauce tomatoes way too close together. There was a problem with the watering, so I had one over here on that one. I didn't get a single tomato off of that. They all had what the frick is that called? Blossom end rot. They all had blossom end rot. Water must be uneven. I also was impatient and planted it, you know, like the day after filling this brand new bed, so it sunk a lot. They just weren't happy. So I've taken out 1, 2, 3. I took out 5 sauce tomatoes, and I left these 2, even though I really want to pull them because they're looking rough. I'm just gonna see what happens by leaving those and bringing this soil back up. So I need to do that, but I've been building shade structures and it's hot. You can only do so many things in one day. Here's some more sweet potatoes and flowers from the cool season. Looking rough, just don't look them in the eye. That's a carnation. I didn't know anything about that. That pot's probably way too small, but I planted that all the way in the winter for funsies. Here's my corn. Also, I had recently seen a video from Epic Gardening. They did a test on all the different kinds of soil, and the Kellogg's brand, which is, you know, obviously the cheapest one in the garden center near me anyway, and I'm thinking for almost everybody, but that one performed really bad. So that is the same soil that I put in here, and I've been really struggling with this corn. You can see it's like not that dark. I've been fertilizing every week with liquid fertilizer, and I even put some extra granular fertilizer, but I just think next year, maybe in this bed, if I did corn again, it would do better. But you can see it's like kind of pale. It's tasseling too, and it's not even that tall yet and doesn't have ears, so I hope that pollen doesn't go to waste. And then I put a pumpkin in the middle to vine and work as like a ground cover, but yeah, I struggle with this one too. It droops a lot and it's yellow, and I've been fertilizing. This bed over here, I'm not even going to go into depth because it's the same thing. I built those two at the same time with the Kellogg's soil, and I've just been like dumping fertilizer, and this stuff in here is just not happy. So next year perhaps. Right behind my corn, I have, oh, and I'm sorry I didn't clean up for you guys. There's some stuff around, but it's so hot, okay? It's so hot, forgive me. But this one I just recently flipped and pulled everything out. I also direct sowed like 3 times before I realized, okay, something's up. I direct sowed some watermelon, and it didn't, well, it did come up and then it would just disappear. So then I thought it was birds, and I put like this little trash can. I put this little trash can on it. I sewed it again, and then the same thing happened, and I was like, what the frick? So I think I have those little, I don't know, are they called like pincher bugs? The little black things. They're sabotaging me. So I started some watermelon inside to get them a little bit bigger and transfer out and hopefully get it. And then I also transplanted 3 zinnias here, and I think the same thing happened because there was a zinnia right here and it's literally gone, not even a stem. Yesterday it was right there, I swear. So I'm sharing this bed with somebody. And then this is a self-sown sunflower. Holy cow, oh my god, it's covered with something is crawling in there. Ooh, ooh. Sunflowers are pretty, but at least in my garden they attract a lot of bugs, and the little goldfinch birds eat the leaves too and like shrivel them up. Ugh, I don't know, it's rough. They're pretty, but deciding if it's worth it. I got another green stalk over here. It is coming back to life after I emergency had to put some shade on it. So some things crisped up, but other things are happily bouncing back. My eventual goal for this bed is to be 100% strawberries. This is throwing out a runner over here. There we go. Tuck it in. This is the leaf version, so it's not supposed to be for a lot of stuff. It's like the shorter version, like the not as deep, but I just experimented. I threw like some zinnias in there. Herbs are fine, so that's not really an experiment. But I also put another stormburst verbena. I didn't have anywhere to put it at the time, and because I had bought them on clearance, I just needed to plant it. So I'll probably move this at some point, but this is so pretty. This kind of crisped up too. These are beans, something sunset. They make pink flowers, and they bloomed for a little bit, and it was so pretty, and then the sun started getting intense and they crisped up, but they're green down here at the bottom. So now that I have a shade cloth up, hopefully this revives itself. I don't want to talk about that squash. That's like did nothing. This one over here died. Don't know if it was a squash vine borer or what, because I had seen them off, but you know, whatever. And then I have just some zinnias and marigolds. Lesson learned, I don't really like the orange and the yellow. No, orange and yellow is the same thing. I mean the gold orangey ones with the red, because it's like ketchup and mustard. I didn't think about that, but so pretty. I also have a tomato plant in here to grow up this trellis. Everything in my garden is like attacked by mealybugs. Ugh, disgusting. I didn't try a lot of stuff, to be honest with you. Like I did try, like soap water, alcohol. That's like so much work. So I've been spraying them off with the hose, and I feel like that's working better because it's easier to be consistent. Back behind here, I have some shallots that I need to pull out. I've got some cucumbers. Oop, can you hear that thunder? I've got some cucumbers. Plants. These are supposed to be burpless, and they're not supposed to be bitter, but I'm finding that they're still bitter. Oh, there's cucumbers down here. These aren't supposed to be bitter, and they are way better than any other that I've tried to grow before. Like you can actually peel the skin and eat it and then be like, oh my god, I think this is bitter. Where before, like, you literally would just put like a little piece on your tongue and have to spit it out. So it is better, but it's still bitter, which happens when it gets too hot or the plant gets stressed somehow. But for us, it's definitely the weather. I have some peanut starts that I'm gonna plant in this bed. The funniest thing ever, I'm like committed because I already started this whole thing, but I bought peanuts when I was reading, like I just bought like regular raw unprocessed peanuts from the grocery store, and I was reading that it's like perfect for boiling and roasting and all that, and I bought them. I was so excited, and I realized when I started sowing them in these little trays that the entire time my thought process was, geez, I'm really glad that I'm buying these just to plant. I don't think I want to boil or roast or do any of that. That doesn't sound like what I feel like doing. I don't know what I thought was going to happen with these peanuts once I harvest them, but I was originally going to do more because of course you're going to need a lot of plants to even make peanut butter or anything like that. But I think I'm just going to grow them for fun, see what happens, because I obviously am not excited to process them. So that's that. No tag over here, but that's some sort of melon. Right on the opposite side, I've got a butternut squash. Oh, we got some little squashes. I've never eaten butternut squash, but it's like you can use it as a substitute for like pumpkin, and even like for pumpkin desserts and stuff. So I wanted to try that, and they're cute. More cucumbers over here. I don't have a tag, so that is super annoying. I don't know if this is just like a regular jalapeno because it kind of looks like it, or if this was like something more exciting, like ancho or something. I don't know, but I already pulled off a good amount, and there's a lot more in here. So those are happy over here. Thank you, Pepper. This green stalk I won't spend too much time on. This had crappy soil in here. The stuff in here never really did that great. I don't even know what the heck this is. Obviously some kind of pepper. I thought perhaps it could have been a tomatillo, but that's definitely like a pepper flower. So I don't know what that is. Some sort of pepper flower, but this is happy. I don't remember putting it there. So interesting. Back over here, I have this. Is a special heirloom from Magdalena, which is the city in Mexico my family is from. Like, it's a small little city. If you're looking at the map, you have to zoom in before it pops up. But Magdalena, big cheese. So I'm excited about that. Hoping to be able to train it up this tiny little trellis. That might be a silly attempt, but we're gonna try it. These are just regular grocery store pinto beans. They're getting a little fried up from the heat. And then this was super exciting, a hollyhock. So pretty. I wasn't sure if those are supposed to bloom on the first year or the second year, but I started those from seed earlier this year. And, well, I guess for you guys, late winter. Seasons, as being a little Arizona girl, seasons always confuse me, because for me it does not compute that March is still winter. So I started these in winter, but to me, in my mind, that was spring. Back over here, I have some tomatoes that just absolutely were getting decimated by mealybugs. Oh my goodness. But since I started spraying, I don't know, they might rebound, but they're looking rough. I should probably just give up. Like, look, I have to spray these like every day, every other day, and they come back. Get out, Pika! I have more floret zinnias. This is the Alpenglow. How funny, I just realized I remember where I put all of my floret zinnias, and that's because the seed packet is like $20, so those I remember. And then I have some orange watermelon in here. Very fun. I got a dwarf raspberry. I threw a random Cosmo in here, and a creeping Jenny. Oh, look at that watermelon trailing out the front. These blueberries are getting burnt to a crisp up. I had a shade cloth, but then monsoon season started. So this little thing, yeah, monsoon season would laugh in my face if I tried to leave a shade cloth up on that. I thought that would hold. And then I got some strawberries. This is like gonna get a whole rework. I think I've decided that I'm going to move my raspberry shortcake. The reason why I put those in containers was because it requires a lot more chill hours than we get. So I thought being in containers, it would be easier to try to control, and actually it would be more exposed to the cold. So maybe it would be cooler. But I think I decided, whatever. And I'm going to put them in here in ground. I'm going to put those berries in here. I'm going to get rid of this grape trellis. I tried to do it the affordable way with materials that I already have, and I've tried to get over how much I hate it and think it's ugly and just be like, hang on, when it's covered in grapes, you'll like it. And I decided I hate it. I don't like it. So I'm going to buy those little like hooks, but instead of drilling into the wall, I don't even want to deal with that. I know it's possible. You can buy a special bit, but I don't want to do all that. So I'm going to get the kind that you silicone to the wall and lash some wire. I'm gonna like that so much more, and I'm gonna rework this bed in the fall, and it's going to be an edible flower bed because it's gonna have the grapes and the berries, but then everything else is pretty much gonna be flowers. So I'm excited about that. I got some green mist on me. I think it's dying back. This was fall planted, and I just did not think it was gonna get this huge. It was actually shading out that Thompson seedless grape back there. This grape, the flame, I think the flame is maybe more vigorous and the ending height is bigger too, but I definitely think this one was getting shaded out. And then I have 2 dahlias back here that I planted this spring. Don't know what kind. We'll find out one day, hopefully. And then more melons. And then this is an exact copy of that other bed, except these blueberries are not crisping up as much as those other ones. These are much happier. Oh, a weed. I think I forgot the side on this side, but I just like threw some sunflower seeds back here, and I did put some drip. That is south, so they do get a little bit of sun in the morning, but of course once the house is in the way, the house is in the way. So these ones are obviously bigger when we get out of the way of the house. And then I have this pot here that I just stuck some zinnias. I think I put the salmon rose or the Ben Aries giant wine, one of those, and some more gomphrena. And then I direct sowed, oh, don't mind the dog toy, don't mind that. And then I direct sowed a watermelon. I'm very impatiently waiting for it to come up. Oh, I guess there's a little sprout. I'll leave it, but I want a little, it's like a small watermelon, not like a big one, so hopefully I can control the vine and have it just drape out the front. This was the first grape plant that we ever bought like 3 or 4 years ago, before I knew there was such a thing difference as table grape and wine grape. So this is a Merlot wine grape, and it does have seeds, but there are, can you see that? This bed is 3.5 feet deep, so it's hard for me to get in there, but there is couple little clusters of grapes. I transplanted this last fall and cut most of the plant back, so I wasn't sure if I would get any grapes, so there's a couple clusters. I also have 3 pepper plants in the front. This is an eggplant and some sort of zucchini. These sunflowers, I had sunflowers in here last year, so I pulled up a whole bunch all year and then gave up, so I got a sunflower here, and I need to snip this head off because it is starting to droop. But I got a sunflower here. That is a Roselle hibiscus sunflower, and then I want to back up for these ones because they're looking rough. Again, I left them in their trays too long, but I just transplanted some zinnias in there and some cosmos. This is another bed that's going to get a whole rework in the fall. I had to buy a garbage disposal from Costco, and Costco basically told me I had no choice and forced me, and somehow 2 rose plants ended up in my cart. So I have a rose coming that I'm going to be putting here, and I'm going to rework this all to be a flower bed. This rosemary takes up a lot of space, so it's going to take maintenance to control it. I cut it back like 30% last year, but I didn't want to do too much, so now I can do a little bit more and trim it up to give me some space so I can add some more, annuals and perennial flowers here. In here, this yarrow is gonna go to leave me space. I just started that from seed and it flowered first year, so I can start some more and put that somewhere else. I also have no idea what these are, if that's a weed or if that's, you know what, is that a ground cherry? I have ground cherries everywhere because last year when my ground cherries were fruiting, I was like already over it. It was like hot. It was like September, so I didn't really harvest like any of them. So yeah, that checks out. I have ground cherries everywhere. Alright, so now we're almost done. I just gotta get these middles. I have an eggplant, and it is blooming. I have floret zinnias. I have... Ooh, you know what? This one I know I mixed 2 different varieties. So I think Alpenglow, and then the other one, I don't remember. Maybe Dawn Creek Blush. I had sweet potatoes in here last year, so I guess I'll have sweet potatoes for life in here, because yeah, I harvested them and then they popped up in the fall. I pulled them out a few times and then was like whatever, and then we got our frost and that killed it back, but they can't be stopped. And then I have in here bell peppers fighting for their life in this sweet potato, but I know peppers can take a little bit of shade, like we'll appreciate that, so maybe these sweet potatoes will actually help. Yeah, because these are like getting sunburnt. Next year everything will be better because I will stop putting off shading the entire garden and thinking I can make do with little random structures here and there, and this whole thing will be in shade. So next year everything will be better. I have more of this beautiful verbena stormburst. I love it. Oh yeah, see, I don't think I need to deadhead because these are the other plants up there must just be in between blooms. And then I have a Shasta daisy. I bought this one on clearance also, but it hasn't bounced back as well. I guess I've drinking the Proven Winners Kool-Aid because all of my clearance plants from Proven Winners definitely bounced back easier than any other clearance plants that I purchased. I don't know. That's not a full scientific experiment. More wave petunias. It doesn't have any blooms, and I don't really like deadheading because this plant is like kind of sticky. I don't know. And then I've got more shishito peppers, basil. These are my ground cherries that I planted this year. Little did I know I could have just not planted them and I would have had them. And then this, oh look, we've got some little ground cherries for me. Guys, I need to be better this year. I do not want ground cherries popping up in here forever like it is in other places. This is another eggplant. And then in here, I have, what's it called? Cypress something. It's a flowering vine. So I'm hoping to get that to grow up here on both sides, actually. So we'll see. They're like tubular flowers, and it says it's good for like hummingbirds and stuff like that. So exciting. This cloud went from the south to the whole sky. Here's my last 2 beds. From this angle, I made this shade structure. I thought it would be good enough. But then I realized even if not for the plants, like if I could plant outside of the shade structure, plants that can take it, like zinnias and stuff like that. For me, I need this whole garden shaded for me to be able to be out here without passing away. So, this will get pulled out. I'll reuse these. You know what that means? More trellises. I get to build more trellises. I'll take this off, and then This middle section will have another structure like that. And in between is less than 10 feet, so I'll be able to stretch a shade cloth across the whole span. Originally, I thought that, silly me, I thought I'd be able to shade this garden with plants. First of all, these beans didn't grow fast enough because I didn't come up with that idea soon enough before the heat was coming. Also, second of all, just like every year, you forget what it's like to be in the punishing triple-digit temperatures every day for a few months. No, absolutely not. This is not good enough. You need a shade cloth. I got some zinnias in here. I have some kale that was absolutely being eaten alive by aphids, and it was disgusting, so I just cut it back at the base as I do all my plants, and it grew back. So free kale. Tomatoes are there. I got one in there. That's another tropic cherry sunset whatever. And then in here, more tomatoes. Those are all beefsteaks of some kind. I think that one's a Cherokee purple. Other ones I don't remember. All getting eaten by the mealybugs, but starting to bounce back now that I've come to spring. Here's a stem that I just sprayed off. It had mealybugs all over it, but look, they just like sucked the life out of that whole stem, those jerks. Here's a Tommy Toe tomato. I've been pulling off cherry tomatoes like crazy on this one. Made a few pasta sauces. Delicious. I haven't really gotten any beefsteaks this year yet. Just the cherries. But maybe I was a little bit late with the shade cloth and the fertilizing lessons you learn. And attacking them, and the mealybugs attacking. Maybe I was a little bit late on noticing that. And then I got a sun gold in here. Also been pulling lots of tomatoes. I got two in the back there that are really orange. I need to get those. I didn't bring a bucket though, so I'll remember that eventually. I got a dill plant that basically went straight to flower. Obviously, we're really hot. More zinnias. That's like a bush pumpkin, so that'll be interesting to see what happens there. Hopefully I get some pumpkins for Halloween. Alright, I think that's everything, and I think it's about to rain, so that'll do it. Hope to see you around next time. Please let me know if you have any suggestions for mealybugs or any other suggestions overall for any of my issues. And thanks for watching. Bye!